a father to her, selfless, who loved living on the water in Matlacha. And she spoke to him the Wednesday before Ian hit. She said he had a plan that if it got too bad, he would go to his friend's two-story home. He had a friend who also had a pickup truck, and that he would be okay. But after not hearing from him for days, her family finally got the call that next week after the storm that he didn't make it.
It wasn't until the next day when we got some more information, and we found out that he was found on Friday, September 30th, and he was a victim of the storm surge. So he never really made it through the storm. So
I can't even imagine like that false hope too. Like,
yeah,
that's probably
making arrangements to go and get him, thinking, okay, I'm going to pick him up in a day or two, and then hearing that was devastating.
There is a message here that you wanted to share in sharing your Uncle Mike's story.
Yeah. It's overwhelming to continue to share and do interviews, but I just think that it's so important because I think the message here in all of this is that people will hear this and see this, and the people who live in Florida might think twice and hopefully evacuate the next time a hurricane is coming our way, so other family members don't have to go through this, and I think too it's so important to help your neighbor. If your neighbor doesn't have a way out, scoop them up on your way when you're evacuating and take them with you. I just think by telling this story, if we can save one person's life, then that means everything.
And it's so incredibly hard to just hear her hold back the tears. Our community is grieving along with these families, and now we're starting to hear their stories, hear how selfless Uncle Mike was, who loved living on the water in Matlacha. The family is now working on getting his body back up to Ohio for a proper funeral. It sounds like it's a long process here with a funeral home here in Southwest Florida. Until then, this is one of a few stories we'll be highlighting throughout this afternoon, honoring these victims and listening to the message that their families want to share with us. We'll see you again in about 30 minutes. Chris, Shari, back to you.
Nadine, thank you so much for that live report, and it's important to get more perspective as to who these people were to our community, some outside of our community just visiting, but we do know the Florida Department of Law Enforcement says Hurricane Ian killed 105 people across the state of Florida.